Hi everyone, I'm Adam the Mini War Painter, and in this video we're going to learn how to add realistic texture to cloth, just like the effect I've created here on my Ancients banner. If you want to take your fabric from flat to something that contrasts beautifully with the rest of your model, this is the video for you. I'll catch you after the intro. If you want to recreate this red for your own models, these are the paints I used: Abaddon Black, Indian Shadow, Deep Red, Mephiston Red, Troll Slayer Orange and Larmian Medium. However, you'll notice as we go on that I actually choose to eliminate Indian Shadow from the palette. I realised that having too many similar tones made the process feel awkward, especially when a touch of black mixed into your base colour is all you really need. But while we don't need Indian Shadow for the final result, it serves as a great learning point for this video. Now, let's talk palette prep. Since we've removed Indian Shadow from the equation, this is how I set up my palette to recreate that rich, finished red. With Abaddon Black, Deep Red, Mephiston Red and Troll Slayer Orange ready, I'm going to mix a little of each colour into the tone beside it. These intermediate mixtures act as a bridge, helping us achieve those smooth transitions across the fabric, allowing us to control exactly where the light hits the texture and where the deep shadows dominate. Palette prep is the key to painting smooth transitions efficiently. And if you aren't using a wet palette yet, I strongly advise looking into one. It's a total game changer. Drop a comment below if you'd like to discuss. Before we dive into things, I want to give a massive thank you to my new Patreon supporter, Ivan. You are directly helping me spend more time at the hobby desk making these guides. If you want to help support the channel and gain access to the older exclusive guides, check out the link in the description. Now, let's get on with some painting. To start things off, let's assume for a moment that I haven't yet removed Indian Shadow from the palette. After base coating the banner with pure Indian Shadow, I mixed in a touch of black to create a deeper tone for the shadows. I layered this into all the recesses of the fabric, as well as the lower sections where the arm casts a natural shadow onto the banner. After this, I made an in-between mixture of those two colours and began a technique called stippling, applied anywhere those original tones meet on the model. Stippling is the process of applying little tiny pricks, and a lot of them, which in turn leaves us with a textured finish. That is it. Going forwards from here, we paint in pricks, and later on, wispy lines. No more flat layers of any kind. Just good old stippling. It's good to keep bouncing between your tones as you stipple, weaving in and out of your layers, effectively stitching your effect together. We want to avoid flat colour anywhere, even in the shadows. So don't be shy about stippling a slightly lighter tone into your recesses. If you find you've lost some definition, don't worry, just stipple back in with your darkest tone to reclaim that depth. Introducing some deep red onto the model marks the beginning of our highlighting. When painting cloth, as we move upward in tone from the base, we need to start narrowing our coverage. Focus these highlights on the top peaks of the ruffles and along the higher contours that run the length of the fabric. As the contours of the fabric broaden, we transition our pricks of paint into wispy lines. You could continue with just pricking away, but personally, there's only so much pricking one can do before getting all pricked out. At this stage, I started to notice that the Indian Shadow really wasn't doing the banner justice. It didn't sit right. So I mixed a touch of black into deep red and used that to replace any remaining Indian Shadow on the banner. Immediately, the tones felt more cohesive. It's now at this stage that our earlier palette prep comes into effect. As we've now eliminated Indian Shadow from the equation, we can now progress forwards up our highlights. Starting off with pure Mephiston Red, we continue to push our highlights onto those higher contours. I've always found Mephiston Red to be incredibly saturated. It's vibrant, rich and honestly very satisfying to watch dry on the model. Once we've nailed this layer of stipples and wisps, I'm going to catch any prominent edges the GW sculpting team had to include in there, but we won't highlight it traditionally. To keep the texture consistent, even these edge highlights need to be stippled on. And with that layer complete, you can really see the textured effect coming together beautifully. It's amazing what you can achieve with nothing but a couple of pricks and some wisps. But there's not enough definition in those highlights, so I'm going to mix Troll Slayer Orange into Mephiston and push the highlights further. Notice as well, as I get brighter and brighter, I start spacing my wisps a little further apart. This was a gut feeling, but it worked incredibly well. By leaving some of that pure Mephiston Red peeking through on the higher contours, we prevent the banner from looking too orange. It keeps the transition looking like a highlight rather than a colour change. With the final highlights applied, I felt the texture was looking a little noisy, and perhaps a bit too orange. To pull the tones together and soften the texture, I mixed a touch of Mephiston Red into a puddle of Larmian Medium. This creates the perfect glaze consistency. By applying a single smooth coat over the entire surface, we draw the dark shadows and bright highlights closer to that Mephiston centre tone. It subtly reduces the noise of the stippling, leaving us with a cohesive, subtle, textured finish. Now, with the waffling concluded, that's the banner complete. A few takeaway points though: if a colour isn't working, like Indian Shadow wasn't for me, change it. It's your model and you're in control. Moving away from traditional layering and embracing pricks and wisps adds a level of realism and grit that flat paints just can't match. If your highlights feel too stark or noisy, a simple glaze of your mid-tone will tie everything back together. And remember, this effect isn't just for banners, it can be used for any type of cloth: capes, loincloths, and banners. And be confident in swapping the colours I've used out with your own choices. This guide is a glove to fit all. Thanks for watching everyone. If you have any painting questions or just want to share your own work in progress, please don't hesitate to message me on Instagram at miniwall_painter. I look forward to seeing how you get on with your fabrics after watching this. If you're looking for more help with your projects, I post free tutorials, guides and articles on Patreon all the time, so make sure you don't miss out on those and head over there via the link in the description below. And of course, if you'd like to support the channel and help me keep these guides coming, you can do so over there as well. Thank you all for taking an interest. I truly hope this channel continues to be a place of good learning for you all. Thanks again, and don't be shy to mix those paints. Ta-ra!